Hello, and welcome to the Knit Girls. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Won't Call Me Les, and today is August 19th, 2018, and this is episode 404. We are actually recording on a Sunday.
We are. So this week is very, very hectic at work, as the past couple weeks have been, but this week is when sports start. So I have something after school every single day, and some days it's multiple things. So I have 3 days with multiple things. So we're just gonna roll with it and hope that I have some knitting content by the end of the week.
Yeah. I feel like the first month or so of school is always very hectic.
Well, it is, because you have things that you don't have to worry about for the rest of the year. Like, we don't have open house throughout the year, and that's really the only thing this week that is more hectic than usual. And there are multiple sports going on, like football and volleyball are going on. So it makes it a little bit more hectic. And I'm on some committees this year that I wasn't on last year.
So much fun.
These are not bad. I'm learning a lot, so that's good. But it's just time consuming. And I'm tutoring this year too.
Yeah.
So, not a big deal. Just a little bit more time intensive. One of my kids asked me on Friday if I was going to go back to school and get my master's. I told her I really wish I could, but time right now is, I don't know how I would manage to squeeze in one more thing.
The podcast would have to go.
I think so, and that's not cool, so we'll see. I would like to get my master's though. But anyway, I am knitting on a sweater. I'm just going to jump in and go first because I'm doing sleeves round and round and round. I think you're doing sleeves though, too.
I'm doing a neckline, but it's round and round and round.
It's like we're very sleeve-rific right now. Yeah. I am knitting on my Simple Summer Tweed Top-Down V-Neck, which is a free pattern. It is not a beginner sweater pattern. It requires quite a bit of thought. It's a very...
Is it
basic pattern?
So there's a lot of implied knowledge.
Yes, there's a lot of implied knowledge, and there's a lot of, like, for the top neck at the same times. Mm-hmm. So if you weren't familiar with raglan shaping, it might be a little bit more difficult. To make matters more interesting, I'm not getting gauge, so... But it does fit. I tried it on for Leslie when I bound off last week. So, and I think because it is Metal and Tosh Vintage in the Grey Gardens colorway, once I block it, it'll grow even more because that's what Superwash Merino tends to do. So I alternated skeins throughout the whole thing up until the sleeves, so hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me, but these are supposedly from the same dye lot, so we'll see. I have one sleeve completely done. Oh, we totally forgot to turn on the lights, didn't we? I'll do mine in a second. We have one sleeve. I have one sleeve completely done, and I'm marking my decreases as I did them. I was glad that I had tried on my sleeves because if I had done the number of rounds that it called for, I would have gone way past. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 decreases. But I also picked up 2 extra stitches, and the sleeve is quite tight, but that's, again, a gauge thing. But I like to have those so I can match them up, and I just started the second sleeve. I'm knitting these on my Licka needles, and then I was switching to signature DPNs when they get a little bit too small because for some reason I have 3 of my size 6 Lickas in the case, but not the other 2. I'm also missing one of my signature size 5s. So there's a double point needle eater at my house of some kind. Which is frustrating. But I'm sure I'll go through old project bags and they'll turn up. Like, I'm sure I was using them to knit, like...
I feel like double point needle eater needs to be the title.
Well, Humberto does eat needles, but hopefully he did not eat these.
He usually only eats part of needles.
Not like the whole thing. So I'm 3 decreases into the second side, and then I just have the neckline to go. And I'm hoping to get this done for Stash Dash because this would be 7 times 220. I think they're 220.
It's 1,400 plus 7 times 2 is 140.
It's going to be at least 1,400
over 1,500 yards.
Yeah. So probably around 1,400 meters, which would be nice. And that's living in my bag, my Hikari handmade bag.
Yep.
Which kind of matches it, which is fun. I have one whole ball left, so I think I can make it work. For sure. So that is the first thing on my needles. And then Leslie and I went to the farmer's market and the flea market yesterday, and she drove, so I got a little bit of knitting time. So I got a chance to knit a couple of rounds on my Nomadic Knits, right? Nomadic Yarns?
Nomadic Yarns, I think.
Okay, Nomadic Yarns. I keep wanting to call her the wrong thing.
Whichever one I say first, I always assume it's wrong. So
yeah, I think it's Yarns. The Bellatrix sucks. So these are just going to be toe up with an afterthought heel. The first one's already done. The second one, I've done the gray with green stripe, a black stripe, a purple stripe, and I'm on the second black stripe. And these are 56 stitches, and I'm knitting them on size 1 needles because this is her sport weight yarn. So what is that, 2.25?
Yeah, 2.25 is a regular one.
So 2.25 millimeter Addy sock rockets, and that's living in a fat squirrel bag, and that's all I have for works in progress. It's been the same for like 6 weeks.
You're so boring.
I am. Thanks for noticing. Appreciate it. Oh, and I'm wearing Leslie's Fade.
For your Find Your Fade.
Find Your Fade.
The 5-color one.
Because when I got here, I didn't look at my t-shirt and it had stuff all on the front.
Yeah.
And I decided to be fancy and put on a shawl to cover it.
Yeah.
Because that's the awesome part of shawls like this.
So you totally just gave it away.
Well,
but, you know.
But you can't see. Oh, no. It's been a weekend, y'all. My internet's not working. Comcast and I are fighting about it. It's been super fun. Spent with loads and loads of time with Comcast.
Yeah, Comcast is our only option for broadband internet. You can use AT&T, but it's all DSL based. Mm-hmm. And even though Laura is relatively close to a station, and will probably get pretty, decent internet, it could change at any time. So, yeah, Comcast is our only option for broadband here in the Memphis metro area. So that's super fun.
I would love it if someone would, like Google, come in, but, it's Memphis.
Verizon was supposed to do Fios, but it didn't happen. Anyhow.
So we're having a good time discussing why my internet doesn't work. And you don't realize how dependent you are on something until it's not working. And, I have my thermostat is on it. A lot of things in my house are. I have Alexa, and so she turns my lights on and off, and so my lights were still on when I left, because I was like, I have to figure out a way to...
Yeah.
And then I figured out, I have the app in my car, on my phone, so I figured how to turn them off once I got to my car, but I was like, I have to actually think about stuff.
But isn't the problem that they're not connected in your house to the wireless
internet? Yeah, they're totally not. So they probably are still on.
I mean, you can push the button as many times as you want,
but they're probably still on.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm sorry, I just totally ruined that for you.
No, I thought I turned them off because I was a good person, but darn it, that stinks.
I hate when you realize you're not a good person.
I'm not. Well,
all right.
I'm still giving myself a good person badge. It's just a little blip in the karma radar for today.
It's out of your control.
Yeah. Not having internet is definitely out of my control. But Michael's gonna help, maybe, too. He's looking at some stuff. But, that's how I set my alarm clock. So, I'm gonna use my phone tomorrow. I need to remember to turn that on.
You probably should. So, I'm working on 2 things. Different 2 things than last week. One of them's different. So, this is the Sevilla out of Barocco Mykonos.
Did you finish both sleeves?
No, just one.
Okay. So you went to the neckline sleeve.
Yeah. So I was I had sort of a crisis last week while we were recording about what I was going to do about the sleeves. And then at Laura's, I had her measure, and I do just want it to be a short sleeve. This is only about 4.5 inches, and it ends right at the crook of my elbow. because it's kind of a boxy shape. This doesn't sit right on my shoulder. It hangs over about there.
Like
So,
the current sweater you're wearing does.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the Meraki, Meraki. I knit this last summer, so you can just search on our website, TheKnitGirlls with 3Ls.com for Meraki, Meraki, and you can get the link there. So I did one sleeve, and the sleeves are actually knit flat and then seamed, which I would rather do than constantly rearrange a sleeve.
I don't know what you're
everything
talking
in
about.
your lap.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And then I went to the neckline. So the neckline uses the most of the body I knit on 7s, and then for the ribbing on the bottom and on the sleeves I go down to a 3.
Wow. I went down to a 5 on my ribbing.
And I do a tubular bind off, so it's actually like
Look
Kitchener
at how
together.
pretty that is. I do not see it. You're so fancy.
Well, I wanted it to match because I did tubular cast on.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do a tubular bind off, which actually is like a Kitchener when you're doing it flat. It's kind of cool. So I think that was the first time I had done that. So I'll do the same thing in the neckline.
So what is it? Ribbed?
Yeah, it's rib. It's
Okay.
1x1 rib, and you do it for, I want to say it's like 2 inches. And I just started it, so I've only got like 2 rows. So, yeah, still working on it. Maybe I'll be done next week. Maybe I won't. We'll see.
I bet you will. Oh, that is a knot. Let's see if that's a knot, or if it's just something I did.
From pulling the yarn.
Yeah.
Just hoping it's just you.
Ta-da!
Woohoo! Alright, and so the other thing that I worked on this week, I'm also using the Hikari handmade bag because it's huge and I can fit 3 projects in it. So that
I
makes
can
me
fit
happy.
1 project.
Well, your project is a giant sweater out of worsted weight yarn, so. This is the Dechaine, which is, I've seen the folks at House of Yarn in Nashville. I think every single person that works there has knit at least one of these.
I want to see that in a wool and not just a cotton. I think it'd be cool. Like a wool silk blend?
Yeah. For me, it's going to get more wear in a linen cotton.
Well, yeah, because you're
I run
warm
hot,
all the time.
So, this is designed to be a cropped top. But the way that the ladies at the House of Yarn in Nashville have done it is they've made the front and back identical, whereas in the pattern the front has lace and the back is a plain stockinette panel.
It's almost like low-high. It's like reverse.
Yeah.
Like the back is much shorter
because
it doesn't have
have that lace that sort of dips in the front. But the ladies at House have just made them identical, and those are the ones I've tried on and really liked. So that's what I did. I finished one side.
Look at you.
I'm just arbitrarily calling it the front just because they're going to be identical, so it won't really matter. Who knows what that was about?
I don't know.
The dogs are barking, so someone must be here, or someone must be setting off fireworks, or Michael must be outside without the dogs. It's one of those things. Oh, they're outside.
All the things are happening at your house.
So this is meant to be worn with 16 to 20 inches of positive ease.
That's awesome.
It is a lot of positive ease, and for a very small person, I think that's totally fine. For me, I wanted it closer to like 12 to 15 inches. So that's what I'm going. I think I'm knitting the size like finished circumference of like 62 or something like that. 60, 62.
I can't wait to try on all these sweaters that you're finishing.
So, depending on where it hits when I'm done knitting, if it hits around the elbow, then I won't add any sleeves. The pattern does have it written to add sleeves. The ladies at House haven't. But depending on where it hits, I may add a little sleeve because I would like it to hit here. We'll see. once it blocks out, because it's going to block down much more than it is right now. Like, it'll add length because of the heaviness of the yarn once it gets wet. So I finished one side of it and just started the second side. I'm like 5 rows in, so that's it.
You're making good progress on your sweaters, though.
I don't feel like I'm making good progress. I feel like
you have one that's almost done that you started before SSK, but the rest you started after SSK, and you have one half done, and then one
like not even quite a quarter.
How
this is the Pavement that I haven't touched since last week.
How many skeins of yarn are you using? 5?
Yeah. Well, I bought 5.
Okay.
If I use what the pattern calls for, it'll be just over 4.
Okay.
But I'm like halfway through ball 1, so
okay.
I'm like
an eighth. Yeah.
Of the way through it. God, that's depressing.
No, it'll get there.
Yeah, I just haven't been in the mood for this week.
It's just stocking it in the round at this point, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to finish these 2 sweaters, and then I'll cast on a shawl of some kind and alternate that with the stockinette of the Pavement.
No socks?
I don't think so. I've got so many socks, and I don't wear them in the summer, really. I don't wear shoes unless I'm leaving the house at all in the summer, so I don't need any more socks right now, so
okay. I
think I'm good for the moment.
Have you knit any pairs of socks this year?
Your mom's, the Entrelac ones.
Yeah.
That's it, I think.
Wow. Who are we?
I don't know. And that's it. You have a finished object, though.
I do. I have a very tiny finished object. So one of my coworkers, this is a shock if you've watched the show before, is pregnant.
She works in a school.
And she's due the 4th of September.
Which is about 2 weeks from now.
Yes, but we think she's probably going to go this week. So I knit her a wee baby hat, a wee pumpkin head is the name of the pattern, and I use the leaf pattern that's linked on her website. The link in the PDF is broken. I just tied a small knot. That's what I typically do with I-cord, is I tie a knot. I think it looks cute. In the pattern they have it so it's like looped, and then the leaves down.
I like the knot.
So it would be like that, but I'm fine with the leaf being a little bit more.
Yeah, fluffy.
Yeah, it's a newborn size, like 0 to 3 months. I cast on 60 stitches, follow the pattern. On size 6 needles, I use my 12-inch Addie's. I'd like to get more of... Addie's doing a new 12-inch circular that has one needle that's longer than the other. I'd like to pick up a few more of those, because the ones that I'm using I got in the 90s when I first started knitting. And they work just great, but I think they're called easy knits. I like the idea of having that, like, longer...
I don't think I've ever used one like that.
We got one for the tasting room in a size 3, but I tend to use, like, 6s for all my baby hats, so...
Oh, well, I got a shipping notice from Jimmy Beans on our
But your
smart
needles
sticks.
are coming. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun to play with. This is hand spun. I cannot tell you what hand spun. It's old hand spun. When I was knitting and I was like, oh, okay, but I think it knit up fine.
Yeah.
And then the top leaf is some Madeline Tosh vintage that I used for a Tin Can Knits vest called Peanut.
It looks exactly like...
I know, but it's not. It does look a lot like Grey Gardens. It was a one of a kind.
It's a little brighter.
Yeah. But then I was thinking if I ran out of yarn, I could totally use this for a round off. So I used it for the Peanut vest by Tin Can Knits earlier in the year that I gifted at a baby shower. And I got all the ends. Yeah.
That was a 2-color one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That had like the big Starfire owl. I need to cut that end a little bit. I wove them in. I just need to cut
There's
it.
scissors right there if you need them.
I will in a second. So it's ready. I don't think I'm even going to block it. I think it looks fine.
Looks fine to me.
So it's going to go to its new home tomorrow. I think it's a fine present. Like...
I think you
standalone.
Greatly underestimate the value of the things that you make by hand.
Yeah, so, like, that's a whole thing. Like, our friend Jess knits a lot of baby hats, and she was like, so you're going to knit, like, 4 baby hats and give them, right? And I was like, no, I'm going to knit 1 baby hat, and this baby hat took me, like, 3 hours. and gift that one, because it's got hand spun in it too, and I feel like even if you were buying something like this commercially, it would probably be at least $10.
Yeah.
And when you add in the handmade, hand spun factor, I think, plus the time, I'm not going to overthink it too much. I think it'll be cute.
Are not implied, and you should be grateful when someone takes the time to make something for you, regardless of what it is.
One thing that I do like about this pattern, and I agree with that statement, is the leaf is reversible.
Yeah.
So it's
very three-dimensional.
In the round. And you could stuff it if you wanted to, too, to give it more dimension.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, it's pretty cute. I think it'll be a fine gift. And I'm going to put it in my book bag right now before I forget that I have it, so that it's ready to go tomorrow. Perks of using a book bag.
Whatever makes you happy,
So that is my only finished object. If I have time, I might knit her some booties later, but I'm giving that to her tomorrow because I'm afraid if I don't, then I'm never going to see her again until
it'll go out
November.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my one finished object. But you have a finished object too, right?
I do. It's not knitting, so it is a craft, and it is a handcraft, and it is my show. Not just my show; it is our show.
I feel like whatever.
Go ahead. You feel like
I'm done. I have nothing else to say. I totally lost that train of thought. Show your finished object.
I'm working on it.
Work faster.
All right.
I'm very impatient. That's a cute bag.
This is was part of my birthday gift from Lady Amy.
Aw.
It says, I read recipes the same way I read science fiction. I get to the end and think, well, that's not going to happen. And this is from Sally Hodges Bags.
That's cute.
So I picked up at Craft South in Nashville during SSK, or the day before SSK maybe. This kit from Cozy Blue.
Yeah, we usually go on Tuesday, just because
I'm pretty sure we did go Tuesday, yeah. And I started at SSK, but then sort of put it down and didn't touch it again until a few days ago. So this is mostly what I've been working on the past couple days. And it says, show up, be true, be kind, keep going.
That's cute.
So it's got simple back stitches, satin stitches, more satin stitches, lots of French knots.
Is that the hoop that you were using, though,
no,
when you were doing
I've got another thing to show to talk about that. And then these, like, woven wheels, which are actually pretty easy to do. This is what the back of it looks like, because I'm not ashamed to show you how terrible the back of it is. So I'll put a backing on it and send it as a gift to somebody. I'm not sure who it's going to go to yet. Yeah. So that it'll cover the back.
Cool.
And then it'll hang. It looks like this was part of her club initially, because it's got the club on it. She does have a very reasonably priced embroidery club. I think it's somewhere like $15 or $20 a month, and
that's cool.
You get the pre-printed fabric and the thread.
That's really cool. Would that be something that you're interested in?
Maybe. And then I picked this up also. This is one of the drop cloth samplers. She also does a club, and hers is $15 a month, but you don't get the thread. You just get the pre-printed fabric, which is not a huge, deal. If you've ever gotten an embroidery kit before, so like for example, for this kit that I'm now completely finished with, and I followed the directions exactly, used exactly what it said, I've got all this left. So you end up with a lot left over.
So it's a bit like knitting in that you have a lot left over. That's a cute little kit that you got there.
This I got also at Craft South, and this is like a Liberty of London print, and it's got needles and a pair of scissors and a tape measure, and then this little zippered pocket.
I don't know how this happens.
You always manage to do that, though.
No. I didn't even wind this ball.
I know you didn't.
Honestly, wound my balls for those projects because my my ball winder's out getting a tune-up.
Yep. We sent it back to
Sawyer B.
Yep, Sawyer B. for a tune-up. I should email him and ask him how that's going. So I went ahead and put this one in a frame just to show you guys this hoop that I got while I was there. This is the pre-printed fabric that you would get from a drop cloth sampler, and the stitches that she uses are in here. Okay. You take the packaging out and open it, and it tells you which stitches are suggested, but she encourages you to do whatever you want. So you can follow the colors that are on here. You can use whatever, your own. You just need to use enough strands of thread to cover the colors on the
But like fabric. The flowers you can do in all different colors.
You could. Those are lazy daisies and back stitches mostly. But this hoop I had not seen before, this particular type of hoop. So mostly what you see are these wooden ones. And there are two pieces. There's a smaller inner wooden hoop and a slightly larger outer hoop. And it's got this just a turn screw to adjust the tension. And this one was just labeled as a French embroidery hoop. I'm not certain if this is like in sort of a vintage style or if it's something brand new. I have no idea. But it's basically just a big spring that fits around this brass inner ring. Let me take this off.
Oh, so look at that.
You've got the spring here.
I would think that if you were having problems with like turning the other ones, that this would be a good solution.
You can't adjust tension on it. I mean, it is just what the tension is. You can't make it tighter. And then this has got, this like beveled edge here. So it just fits directly in there. And you stretch it out along the edge. Comparing this to the wooden one holds the tension a little bit better, but I feel like it's easier to get the fabric in this hoop, and it's easier to do a quick tug once it's in here to tighten that tension back up. You can do adjustments quicker with this one than you can with the wooden hoop, but the wooden hoop holds tension better, I feel like, than this one does. So I think this was like $20 or something. I got it because I had never. Oh, you can get those for under $1 usually at Joann, depending on the size. The bigger ones are a little bit more, although I feel like the bigger ones, you're really just wasting your money because the tension doesn't stay even across that huge surface. So I never really go bigger than a 6-inch because that's what she said.
I'm holding in some things.
This is a pain in the butt to get.
I'm not going to help because I'm just going to mess it up.
I have no spinning. Do you have any spinning?
I do not.
Oh, no.
Life is busy, yo. I was hoping to get 4 hours of spinning in today, but then I spent those 4 hours with Comcast.
Yeah.
So it did not happen.
Ways to ruin a weekend.
But I did eat popsicles as I talked to Comcast because I felt like that is what I needed. Like I needed my pineapple popsicles to get me through that conversation. As you do.
Not gonna hear me judging you. Oh, it looks like this French embroidery hoop. I just noticed it's got
Maker's Mark?
A Maker's Mark. It says French General. So I guess if you're looking for that online, I would try French General French embroidery hoop. You may find it there. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. So as far as books, do you want to talk about what you've been reading?
Sure. I'm still reading.
Whoa, I went way too far.
I'm still reading Front Desk, but I picked up this picture book this week that I wanted to show you guys.
Oh, yeah.
It is called We Don't Eat Our Classmates. It is by Ryan T. Higgins, and he does another book that I really like called Be Quiet. And then he also has, like, Mother Bruce. But he writes very, very funny books. And in this book, it is about Penelope's first day of public school. And I love the fact that she wears pink overalls.
She's a dino that loves unicorns or something.
No, it's horses and ponies.
Horses, okay.
Come on, get it right. And so she is going to start her very first day of school And she's got a new backpack with ponies because ponies are delicious.
Oh.
That's why they're her favorites.
Okay, I didn't realize it was that. I thought it was your typical...
And then there's her sandwiches that her dad made her with her pony lunchbox. So she has 300 tuna sandwiches and an apple juice. And so she starts off the day, and I love how eclectic and diverse her class is. It makes me super happy, too.
Is she the only...
She is the only dino, though. But it's okay. But, it's the shame is when you eat all your classmates, because children are delicious. And then the natural consequences of that is, you spit all them out.
And they are unhappy?
And no one wants to be your friend. So the story progresses from there. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I love the illustrations. I like the little girl who's got her fist raised.
I like this
that
one. She's so grumpy.
But wouldn't she be grumpy if you got eaten by a dino?
Yeah.
And it takes her... I love the fact that she doesn't learn her lesson on the first time. It takes, 4 or 5 tries before she learns, when she sits down, she tells them that they can sit there.
On the plate.
On her plate. It's just a very funny, clever book about making friends. So, it was pretty awesome. She finger paints her best work, and it's her eating small children. She tries hard to make friends at recess, and she's standing at the bottom of the slide with her mouth open. It just makes me happy. Anyway, it's a cute, cute book. Ryan T. Higgins does lots of funny things. It retails for around $18 in the US. And I'm going to read it with my 6th graders, I think. She's got a pony bedspread, too.
Because they're delicious.
They are delicious. Sometimes it's hard to make friends, said her dad, especially if you eat them. You see, Penelope, children are just the same as us on the inside. Just tastier.
This is kind of a dark kid's book.
That's my favorite kind.
So Laura's been reading about dinos going to public school, and I've been reading everything else. I'm listening to the 3rd series, which is like a sci-fi paranormal kind of
male
drama.
It's it's kind of like if there were police in X-Men.
Yeah.
Like
if the mutants and the humans work together.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Although in this series they're called Therians, and they're shifters into
different items.
Yeah, like different cat or other animal forms. So I've read, I want to say I've read 3 or 4 of them. Laura says there's 15 books in the series.
I feel like there's around 15.
I know there's at least 10 because we just looked at them on Audible. I didn't go over to Amazon and look.
Maybe there's 12. I don't know.
But
I'm on book 6. I actually started reading those at SSK.
Oh, okay.
So
I had read the first 1 or 2.
Well, the first one's on Kindle Unlimited for free.
But,
so if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can check out the first one for free.
So I'm just listening to those. I'm also listening to The Lies of Locke Lamora still. And I've been reading the October Day series. I'm still on the first one. And the Dragons of Pern series. I'm still on the first one of those. I've been flipping back and forth a lot this week. I can't get my teeth into anything that I really love. So I've just been flipping around a lot. It goes that way sometimes.
Yeah. That's how it works sometimes with reading.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it.
So our striped sock yarn knit along is still going on. I'm going to put up the FO thread this week as soon as I get to internet, because Ravelry is blocked at work, so I can't access that at work. So we'll get it. And I don't like doing that one on my phone, because you're starting threads on my phone on Ravelry is a little bit meh. So I'll get that up this week. Stash Dash is going on until next Monday, so y'all still have a week left.
So not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow?
Yeah, it's the 27th. It's Pearl's adoption day. We should get her
a little puppy cake.
I know, that's what I'm thinking.
They're usually not made with sugar, but yeah.
Like a puppy crown.
Good luck.
We'll see. She's not so good when the Comcast guy was there. And he was like, I have 4 dogs, I just want to pet her. And I was like, Yeah, she does really, really well with women, but she's definitely hit at some point before I got her by a man, probably with a brush if I had to go by reactions of what she reacts to very, very poorly. So, but yeah, 2 years with that dog.
Mm-hmm.
Craziness. And Humberto's stressing me out, but he's still around too.
He keeps faking Laura out like he's very sick. But
Yeah.
he's really not. He's walking around and eating and drinking and hurling everywhere.
Yeah, it's super fun.
What else? I think that's really it. This is a short show this week, but we just don't have a ton to talk about.
Hopefully there'll be more next week. Hopefully I'll have this done by next week because I want to count it for Stash Dash.
Yeah.
And we can kind of go over maybe next week how we did for Stash Dash.
I would like to finish at least this one for Stash Dash. I'd really like to finish Dechaine for Stash Dash.
I think you could do it. If
I
you
definitely
put your mind
could
to
because it doesn't take long. You know, it was only 6 repeats of a 14-row pattern, so it's less than 100 rows. It's just the needles are so big, it actually takes longer because it's more work to move the yarn and the needles because it's a size 11 needle.
But I bet you could get that. I bet you could get both of these done in a week.
That's what I would like to do. So that's
And that would give you some great. That would give you some great yardage, especially. And
Yeah.
then the Dechaine probably 800 yards.
somewhere around there, a little
Yeah.
more. Yeah, because
So-
I'm a bigger person, so I needed more skeins.
But still,
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
So I would like to. I would like to count that for Stash Dash. But if I don't, I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't even set a goal, really. So, and I have no idea. I could be at the 5,000 mark or the 10,000 mark. I have no idea. So,
Or more, because you spun some this summer too.
I did a little bit. But
We'll
that's
see.
it. We hope you guys have a great week, and we will talk to you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.